Oh, welcome one. Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic Team Toyota t-shirts are. That's kind of like old school Toyotas.
Got a few fun things on it.
A few fun things. This might be the podcast for you. So welcome, everybody. My name's Tyler. Joining me is Mr. Old School, living in the 80s and the early 90s, Mr. Jimmy Jet. How are you, buddy?
I am well. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well today.
Good. Happy to hear it.
Yep. It's still hot.
Yes.
I think it's going to stay hot for another, 2 weeks, they were saying? 2 to 3?
I don't know. It's not hot where I am.
Oh, on that side of the room? That's
Yeah.
not hot over there?
All the way over here in Ireland.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Uh-huh. You're going to have some nice storms over there, though.
Yeah.
This time of year.
It's humid
Yeah.
too.
Yep. Enjoy your potatoes.
Thank you. Will do.
That I never realized how much, like, you always hear jokes about Irish being into their potatoes, right? And
You know what an Irish
staple.
7-course meal is?
French fries, mashed potatoes, twice baked potatoes, a hot potato.
A 6-pack and a
Nugget.
potato.
Oh, okay. Got it. So yeah, it's they make a lot of things with potatoes over there.
Yeah.
Just
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I like starch.
you get a lot of starch.
Yep.
Their French fries are like super thick, chunky things too. So
Oh, yeah?
like they're
They're
almost a meal in and of
wedges.
themselves. Yeah, they're like big fat wedges though. So
Cool.
yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, man. It's I hope you're having a good time.
Thank
over
you.
there in
I am.
Ireland.
Fantastic.
Ireland. How was that? Was that a good accent? Ireland?
Sure.
I
I had a listener send me a thing about Ireland, and it was an Irish guy talking about Americans coming over to Ireland and telling all the Irish people about how Irish the American is, like they are, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think I
The
followed along.
Irish man was talking about how Irish people don't care about how Irish the American people are.
Okay.
They're, because and he said a funny line, and it was pretty much like, everybody I know is Irish, so I don't care if you're Irish.
Yeah.
Everybody I know is Irish.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it's not
fair.
a big deal for me.
Uh-huh.
I was like, hey, that makes sense.
One
I'm
thing,
not Irish.
Uh-huh.
Maybe there's a wee bit in the family history or whatever, but I'm not any bit, to my knowledge, Irish, but the assistant is Irish. So she's all excited to go to Cork County and all these places to do some family history. And I showed her this and she's like, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. One interesting thing that I found while I was there
Yeah.
is that they love American politics.
Oh, goody.
It's all over their
Perfect.
news stations.
Yeah.
And they cover, like, I must have been there during a presidential election year, because that's all a lot of people ended up talking with us about was, oh, what are you guys doing with your presidential elections and blah, blah, and how are your primaries going and all this?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they knew more about our election stuff and
Yes.
how our politics work than we do. So,
They do. Yeah.
It'll be, I think, very entertaining. I think you have some fun conversations while you're there about this theater dramatics that are going on here
Yeah,
and the
it'll-
theatricals here in the States right now.
It'll be really interesting.
Yeah.
Can I bring something up that I forgot to talk about on Thursday's episode?
I guess. I have something too. I can't believe I didn't think about it on Thursday's episode. Go, you first.
Okay. While I was walking around at all the amusement parks that I was going to,
Mhm.
I started thinking about, can we create an off-road amusement park themed place and have it be
Okay, so not an off-road amusement park, an off-road themed amusement park.
in a way, yes.
Okay.
But have it be like sections of the gunite section down out at Hollister Hill. And then you have like 5 or 6 rigs that people drive through and have like a tour guide
Oh,
that, or they have somebody, like your employee drives the rigs through and you jump in the passenger seats and you do like a crazy loop and then you come back and, then you could have maybe an education area about four-wheeling and how to do four-wheeling or basic things, and you could tie in all like safety and education into a fun off-road amusement park where if you flop a rig, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that would be definitely, I think, something that could be useful here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
The East Coast has quite a few of off-road parks. I don't know how many of them do like guided tours where you can have somebody from the park actually give you a guided run. But that would be an interesting concept for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things I was thinking was like, you just have like a little circle track or something. And like one side of it is just whoops. And you just have a trophy truck like, wow, and like does 3 laps and it goes over the whoops, super fast. And then that ride's done and you unload a bunch of people and you load a bunch of people back in. And
that would be interesting to have different sections of the park. One, you'd have a mud bog in, an Ultra 4, where you're just going through rocks at 20, 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
A trophy truck section.
Like a rock crawling.
Section. That would be interesting.
And you could then throw in actually some like roller coasters that are off-road themed.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about all that when I was going throughout the amusement parks. But my thought was like, okay, because Knott's Berry Farm did a really good job of education in their areas. They had like, old Western town, and they talked about things that happened back in the day, like how to forge metal, how to make, food, and how they saved, made jerky to have it for later or whatever. They had all these like entertainment centers that were educational.
Okay.
Disneyland does a really good job at while you're in line waiting for your ride, there's entertainment stuff happening in line that you could make educational. So I was thinking about all this. So like we can have an off-road theme park that is mainly for education reasons, but you get to go jump in a crazy rig and have a little bit of fun. And then you go on to your next ride.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I thought
we could do it in the Fry's building.
Yeah. And there'd be like, I thought about RC cars. Like you can have a whole entire RC area.
Yeah.
So, okay. That was mine. If anybody wants to bat that idea around with me, I'm all ears because I think it's a fun idea.
Yeah.
What was yours that you've completely forgot?
I have a secret.
Okay.
But I can tell everybody.
What? Okay. Like you mean, no, this time you're joking with me.
Yeah, no.
You really can say it.
I really can say it.
Okay.
So this is actually kind of funny because we were talking about it on last week, which was recording.
Yes.
And I was like, I can't tell you. I don't know when I can tell you. I know I can tell you after November 3rd. Like that's I know for sure I can say something. Yeah. The next morning at 7 a.m. is when they released the information. I was like, oh, I could have talked about it on the podcast then.
Yeah.
So Marlon Chakowski is inducted into the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Woo-hoo!
Yep. Super, super rad. It's so cool to see the community come together and rally behind him.
Yes.
And see Ormhoff rally behind him and recognize the importance that he had on the off-road motorsports industry.
Yes.
So
I think that's fantastic. And congratulations to the Chakowski family. And we all miss Marlon, but it's really an accomplishment to be able to be put into that category with all those also amazing individuals that are in the Off-Road Hall of Fame.
Yep. Yeah. Super cool. He's up there now with Ken Block. Ken Block is getting inducted this year as well.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Okay. So is Pistol Pete.
Yeah. Yep. So there's some really cool names this year. I think it's a great class year for the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. So the gala happens in Las Vegas on November 3rd. And I have a couple of tickets, so I've got to see how I'm going to use them, but it sounds like there's going to be 2, maybe 3 tables purchased for Marlin supporters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll give you guys an update on once I have more information about that. But I was called and told a few days, I want to say the Wednesday after his celebration of life.
Oh, wow.
is when I was told that it was happening and that they voted and he was inducted. But they weren't going to make the announcements until later in the year. So I was sworn to secrecy.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell his family.
Wow.
They wouldn't let me tell Mike and Christine and Crystal.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you got told.
I got told because I was the one that submitted the application. They tell the applicant what the outcome is, but they won't tell really anybody else until they announce it. Yeah.
It's an interesting process.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would think you just say you would tell everybody at the same time in a way.
Yeah. Maybe they tell the applicant because they really want the applicant to be there at Vegas. So they give them as much time as possible to plan for the trip.
You got what, a month?
Yeah, I've got it's.
So you had
November.
a month since we were told.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We
have, what is it? It's mid-July right now. So August, September, October. We've got 3 months roughly to get ready for the gala. So, I don't know. I don't know. I've been super happy and giddy about it this whole time. And now we get to finally tell everybody. They still claim that all the emails everybody sent in did not have an impact.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either. I can't imagine that you could ignore that many people when you're having to reach out and say, stop the emails.
Yeah. So I sent an email in, right? And I got a response. Yep. I got a polite response, better than some other people's responses. Because I think I was one of the first ones to send an email in.
Yeah.
I also got, they've sent me an email in response to my submission. That said that he won.
Really?
On the day that they released everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I wonder if everybody else did too. They got that same email when
I don't know.
Sent them out.
Not sure. I don't know if they went through everybody's, everybody that sent in an email in regards to Marlin, and then they've sent the same blanket email out to everybody. I'm not sure. But I was like, why am I getting an email from Ormhoff?
Yeah.
And I was like, Marlin, and I clicked it and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yeah. So that was really, really cool to see. Congratulations. Thanks for holding a surprise over my head for like a month, asshole.
Yep. It was fun though. It was worth it. It was worth it, right? It was worth it. Come
somewhat,
on.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for helping with that endeavor. It really does mean a lot, especially to the family. I've talked to Mike now about it. And he said that his mom, Christine, kind of broke down, just started crying as soon as they were told, the family was told about it all. So cool stuff. That's been my secret. So for anybody, people have been asking me and guessing what it was. And I was like, nope.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have a secret for you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is it?
I can't tell you.
Oh, come on. No. What do you mean?
No, can't do it.
I think you're just making stuff up.
I am.
Yeah.
But I do have some important news also.
Okay.
This month, we are giving away an EVCX.
This guy right here.
Controller.
Yeah.
For our monthly giveaway. Super cool, tiny itty bitty little throttle controller. This version, the X version, is also Bluetooth controlled. It does have a little switch panel on it, or you can use the Bluetooth controller app to control the throttle response that you were looking for, your desired throttle response.
Yep.
A super cool little device from Ultimate 9.
Ultimate 9.
Ultimate 9. Is it Ultimate 9 Motorsports?
It's just Ultimate 9.
Should be Motorsports.
Yeah.
That'd be better.
Yeah, right.
Ultimate 9. Big thanks for donating one for this month's giveaway. Big thanks to Morphlate for donating one as well. Super stoked for those.
Yep.
If you want to get in and win yourself a little tiny itty bitty $250 throttle controller, do that over on iRate 4x4. Go down to the watch list and discuss section. Click the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. Sign up for the giveaway tier.
Sweet. I like it a lot. We have reviews.
Okay.
We're going to do a couple today.
Wow.
We haven't done some in a while.
Okay.
We're up to 657 reviews right now.
We gained a few more since the last time.
Yep.
Good.
on our way to 700. So at every 50, so we did one of these giveaways at 650. We're going to do another one at 700 reviews for a swag pack. So we got a fun little package of swag for a lucky winner and an Onyx Elite membership, a 1-year membership for Onyx Elite. So we've got that. Once we get to 700 reviews, we'll do a drawing from all 700 reviews that we have so far. And we'll let you guys know who the winner is. And then you have to prove that you have control of that account. So we'll let you know how to do that when the time comes. And then once we get to 750 reviews, that's the next big benchmark. So I think we originally set out, we were like, yeah, let's get to 500. Ha ha ha. That'll never happen.
Right.
Let's do some big fun prize. And that way we never really have to do it. We can just say we did it.
What was our prize?
It was a winch.
A winch. That's right.
Yeah. And so we got to 500 reviews. Somebody won a winch. And then we were like, we're not going to get to another amount. But who knows? We never thought we'd get to 500. Let's just say 750. Let's go 50% more. And we're on the way there. So
almost there.
Yeah. So leave a review and you'll get a chance at the swag pack at 700 as well as the Yokohama tires. So you get a full set of 4 tires from Yokohama tires. Pretty much anything you want. 20-inch or less than 20-inch rim and DOT approved compounds. Which is pretty much their whole off-road lineup. So, yeah, check those out over at Yokohama's websites and Yokohama on Instagram. They got some really cool options now, and they just released that new all-terrain, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about?
Yeah.
I still haven't gone and looked at that. I need to check that out.
I don't remember the name. AT4s or whatever they are.
Yeah. So yeah, 750 reviews. We got a set of tires from Yokohama. Everybody get in and do it over at Apple Podcasts.
Yes. And Yokohama, when are you making 42s?
Yeah, seriously, we need to get some 42s in here. Although I'd have to do a lot of work to Kermit, I think, to fit 42s.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You just aren't allowed up travel.
That's true. I can just limit the up travel.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian, earmuffs. Earmuffs, Brian. Don't listen.
There you go.
Anyways, I think that does it. Oh, we're going to do a couple reviews.
Yeah, let's do a few reviews.
All right. I
haven't done any in a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. Hot minute. So do you want to know where
we're... the next one?
Hot minute? No.
Oh.
Do you want to know where we are in terms of reading reviews?
Let me guess. We're like 18 months behind.
Ooh, that's actually damn close.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So January 13, 2023.
Yeah.
Which is 18 months and 8 days.
Okay.
7 days.
Wow.
That's pretty good, man.
I'm going to go get a lotto ticket.
I know. Geez. This one is from Kung Fu Master.
Kung Fu Master.
Or it's Masta. How do you say pasta? You say pasta?
Pasta.
You say pasta? Then it's Kung Fu Masta.
Masta.
So this is good off-road show.
Thank you.
I've been listening since Austin on irate 4x4 posted up about you. And then the flip off emoji, but it's
From
not
irate.
the emoji. Yeah, it's like the writing right out the colon flip off to colon. Anyways.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you
we
to the
enjoyed
Mazda.
having Austin on and everything that Austin does for us with all of our snail squad stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. Next one. Canadian Pedro TLC.
TLC?
Yep.
Toyota Land Cruiser?
Maybe. I was thinking Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls or whatever that song. That's not by TLC.
No. Two Love Crew?
Two Love Crew.
What was TLC?
I don't know what the TLC stood for in TLC.
Oh.
Tender Loving Care.
Maybe I think
Come
that's
on,
actually
Jimmy.
what it was. Yeah.
Canadian Pedro with Tender Loving Care. Informative and relevant. Love this podcast. They have a structure and talk about relevant issues. Nice to have 4x4 podcasters who actually go off-roading.
Yay.
Pedro TLC. I think that's shots fired at some other podcasts out there. Just FYI.
I haven't gone off-roading in a while though.
Didn't you just go somewhere with Bobcat recently?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
I drove it around town.
Oh, okay.
The other day.
Next one, Ricky Palo.
I don't know if I've got to have off-roaded since Cruise Moab.
Right? I thought you went somewhere since Cruise Moab. Like I thought you went up on the Rubicon for like a day trip or somewhere.
I don't remember. My mind's not firing on all cylinders right now.
Nope. Let's see. All right. Ricky Palo.
Okay. Ricky Paulo.
This is the next one. It says Fun Wheeling Podcast. Jimmy and Tyler are entertaining hosts. The podcast covers off-roading trip reports, industry reviews, and campfire style discussions. If you're into wheeling, Toyotas, and hearing about great California trails and events, this is the podcast for you.
I agree with that one.
I agree too.
5 stars?
5 stars.
Perfect.
Thank you, Ricky Palo.
Ricky Palo.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to make a shirt of that one too.
Yep. A little long. It's a wordy shirt.
That's okay. It'll just wrap all the way around.
You have to walk around him to read it. Next one is Rock Crawlin' K5.
Wow. Blazer in the house. All right.
Full size /Insta Rock Crawlin' K5 or Rock and Crawl K5. Your fellow full size listener. Are one of us considered full size?
I don't know. You're tall.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
You have full size axles.
I have bigger than full size axles. Love the podcast. Don't ever apologize for the long episodes. It keeps me busy during some of my long drive days. Keep up the long episodes.
All right.
So we'll do this
one on Thursday for you.
There's a nice long one on Thursday. We'll do this one about 2 hours for everybody. Okay. So we're about 10% in right now. Next one. Great podcast from GIFJov.
Yep.
GIFJov.
Perfect.
It says, looking forward to more episodes. Nice, short and sweet.
I bet there's another GIFJov review. He's going for stuff. That's my guess.
Yep, could be. And I think we read this one. This is from Spark 'em Up. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Love the podcast and keep up the jokes. Well, maybe not all the jokes. A lot of great information on and entertaining stories. Well worth listening to if you have interest in Toyotas or wheeling.
Cool.
And last one for today.
Okay.
She Jate or Shedge 8. It's she J and then number 8.
She
Jate?
CJ8.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's instead of CJ8.
CJ. Oh, it's maybe a female CJ8
female
owner.
CJ8 owner.
That'd be kind of cool. Great off-road podcast. Very entertaining and hilarious at times. Even my wife said highly entertaining. Keep up the great work.
So he wrote a review on her podcast.
That's what I'm guessing.
Or her Instagram or Apple Podcast name. That's what I was looking for.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
So you got to stay together with her if you want to win those Yokohama tires.
That is true. Got to keep the couples together.
Yes, that's our second goal on this podcast.
That's really the goal of the reviews. It's not really to get people tires. It's to help with relationship issues.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
100%. Well, let's see. The only other thing we've got going, a giveaway status, is the Walter Tools giveaway. We are still working with Walter and what they've got going on. They have a national-wide tool giveaway happening and consumables going on until I think it was November. And if you go into any local welding supply store, see some consumables that are Walter, Drillco, or Triumph, and you take a photo with them and then send that photo into the QR code that's on that packaging, then you get entered to win some consumables. And then the grand prize is a 2024 2-year lease Ford F-150 Tremor.
That's it. Yep.
That's awesome. And so Snail Trail 4x4 is doing something in conjunction with that. We're more or less doing absolutely the same thing. But if you send us your entries, then you get an added bonus giveaway item at the end of August. We'll do the drawing. So September, we're going to give away something as well. So just whatever photos and information you're sending to Walter, send them into us as well. And if you send us the receipt, a photo of the receipt, you get a bonus point.
Cool. I like it a lot. That's some fun contests still going on, some fun giveaways. So make sure you get signed up for them if you're interested in them. About does it for housekeeping stuff,
I think
huh?
so. Yeah, I think we're good.
Cool. Let's transition to our campfire discussion. We are going to be, I think, finishing up our trail highlights. So grab your favorite drink, grab your favorite Halloween candy, because Halloween is right around the corner. Not really. Freaking Home Depot and Lowe's started putting out Christmas stuff.
What? I saw Halloween stores.
I saw some
up.
Christmas lights in Home Depot last time I was there. I was like, what are you?
That's ridiculous.
Anyways, anyway, we'll be right back.
The 4-Wheel Underground website just got an upgrade. Come on by and check out the new functionality, new photos, and new pricing. Finally works on mobile too. Visit 4wheelunderground.com and find your new suspension today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentleladies, to today's campfire discussion. This is kind of the part of the podcast where we like to come up with a discussion style something to get you and your buddies talking about a topic or discussing something about off-roading. Hopefully it's something that you guys can debate on, argue on, and we can end friendships over. That's the main goal of these discussions, because we like to wake up and choose violence every day. Just kidding.
And we try to keep relationships together.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And keep, romantic relationships together, but friendships we got to destroy.
We got to demolish.
Yeah. Unless you're romantically involved with your friends. I mean, then I don't know what we're doing here.
We're talking about Toyotas.
Toyota owners? Jeep owners? I don't know. Anyways.
I'm going to leave that one there.
Send all your hate mail to Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com.
And Jason at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com.
Exactly. Does Rodney have a Wheeling Wine and Whiskey email yet?
I don't know. Lorenzo does.
Lorenzo does. That is true.
I don't know if Rodney does or not.
I'll have to look into that and set one up for him or something.
Yeah. That's super easy.
Yeah.
And we can start an alias off of one of ours for that, can't we?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could. We can just start. Yeah, we'll start replying as Rodney.
Yes.
Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
Or we could start sending ones in, to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey from Rodney.
From Rodney's email. Nice. Anyways, we're talking today about a discussion, fun one we've been doing a little bit already, which is highlights of trails and trail areas kind of thing. If we need more stuff to talk about. So, we've talked about the Rubicon, which was, there's a lot of highlights on the Rubicon, a lot of cool things to see and do while you're there. A lot of things that draws Jimmy and I to that area. We talked about Fordyce, which still has a lot of stuff to do, a lot of stuff to see, a rich gold mining history there, which we don't know a whole lot about, but we're working on getting a professional insider on the podcast that knows a lot about the gold mine history of Fordyce. So keep your ears peeled for that. We talked a little bit about a bunch of the other high Sierra trails in the El Dorado, Stanislaus, Tahoe National Forest areas. We've talked about Moab.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool highlights in Moab. And now today we're going to talk a little bit about the Fresno area.
Yes.
Yes area.
Yes.
Yes. There's nothing yes about Fresno. Everything is no about Fresno. Stay away from Fresno. Just don't do Fresno.
Schaefer.
Schaefer, south of Yosemite.
Yes.
So yeah, it's it's not.
Yes.
Yes, it's not.
Fresno
is not. Yes. Okay. We're talking about Shaver Lake.
Yes.
Yes. So, there's a lot of really cool trails in Shaver Lake. Shaver Lake is a great off-road area in the Sierra National Forest here in California. That is kind of up outside of Fresno, outside of Yosemite. That same kind of environment area that you would get in Yosemite, but it's a really cool spot that's had a lot of work done by the Clovis Independent Four-Wheelers. They do a lot to help maintain the Shaver Lake area, a ton of the trails up there. I know 4x4 Him also does a bunch of trail maintenance and projects up in that area. So there, and Sierra National Forest has a really good relationship with the off-road clubs and kind of lets them manage and maintain a lot of these trails. So the trails are a phenomenal trail system up in Shaver Lake. And in my opinion, it's a great way to set up a base camp.
And why do you say that?
Go run trails around Shaver Lake.
Oh, you mean so to set up the base camp and then you can run multiple trails from that base camp location.
Yep.
Got it.
So there's an awesome spot called the Sand Flats. You don't need to throw stuff at me, Jimmy. What do you? So there's an awesome place called the Sand Flats. So as you're going up the highway towards Shaver, towards Dinky Creek, up in that area, there is a turnoff to the Sand Flats, and it's literally sand, like just a bunch of sand.
Okay.
As you're coming into this area in the high Sierras, that's typically Sierras are dominated by more granite, right?
Yes.
And it's just this loose sand that you almost like beach sand. It's really impressive. And I have no clue what it's doing there. I don't know enough about geology to explain why this sand flat area is there, but it's this giant area that you can camp in. And it's kind of the trail access point for a bunch of the trails around Red Mountain, and kind of the Shaver Lake area.
All right.
So
I've been in that area once.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I remember is it's got one hell of a hill to get up there.
Oh, the 4-lane
on the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It does.
And so that's to get you up towards near sand flats.
Sand flats. So yeah, that's called the 4-lane.
Okay.
It's 2 lanes in either direction.
Yes.
And it is a steep climb.
It's very steep.
Very steep. There is a water station partway up. And when I was growing up in the off-roading club in that area, we actually had the adopted highway at the bottom of the 4-lane.
Okay.
So the first, I want to say it was 1.5 miles, 2 miles, 3 miles of the 4-lane. We adopted that section of the highway. So we'd go out there once a year, twice a year, and walk along the bottom of the 4-lane, picking up trash and putting them all in garbage bags for Caltrans to come by and pick up. So anyways, 4-lane, very steep.
Very steep.
22 REs have trouble getting up there. You end up in 4 low, halfway up.
Yeah. Low.
Low. Tow rigs have difficulty getting up there. It's a very steep incline going up, and it's can be scary coming down with tow rigs. If you do not have good brakes and good trailer brakes, it could be white knuckles coming down that.
For sure.
So, but that 4-lane pretty much goes up, and then it kind of levels out, goes through some windy roads. You end up in Shaver Lake.
Okay.
And there's a town of Shaver there with 1 gas station, I believe. Might be 2 gas stations now. Last time I was there, it was only 1. And that's kind of your fuel stop before you go wheeling up in that area, because there's no other gas, no other fuel in that area. If you're not bringing fuel with you, fill up in Shaver. And then from there, Shaver is kind of your access town to a bunch of the off-roading trails up there. There's Bald Mountain. There's all the Sand Flats and Red Mountain trails. You've got Swamp Lake kind of up in that area. You've got Dusy. Dusy is up in that area. Dusy Eursium.
Okay.
So there's these really cool trails in that area. And in my opinion, the main draw to that area is just that it's so accessible. They've done a really good job at making all the trails accessible quickly and easily. So you can set up a base camp somewhere and go out and do 2 trails in a day, come back to base camp, and then go out to another 2 trails the next day and come back. And they're relatively short trails. A lot of the ones, at least based out of Sand Flats. So you've got quite a few, and they all pretty much, what they all have in common is they end at these little tiny high Sierra lakes, like kind of like Barrett Lake, but less granite bowl like.
Yes. Okay.
So there's Strawberry Lake, Red Lake, Mirror Lake, West Lake, Coyote Lake, Swamp Lake. There's all these trails kind of go out to these high Sierra lakes, and they're phenomenal to go out and camp at as well. In my opinion, the trails are all pretty short. if you're running 35s and you're locked front and rear, you're going to be able to get to the lake pretty quickly that day. And if all you want to do is just get to a lake and hang out, then awesome. Then that's a great trip for you, right?
Sure.
You do one short trail, get to a lake, hang out, and you'll get there 1 or 2 p.m. maybe, and then hang out, have your lunch there, and then have dinner there, camp, and then leave the next day. You can have a late exit the next day and go back home.
Right.
It's also very close proximity to Fresno. So if you do kind of live down in the metropolitan area of Fresno, it's a quick jaunt up to Shaver Lake, kind of like it is for us to go up to Rubicon or Fordyce.
Correct. Yep.
So that's another really nice feature about it, is that it's close to a pretty big metropolitan area of California.
Right. And that being said, if you do have problems and you break, you're not terribly far from people that might have your solution.
Exactly. Yep. And so, yeah, that's kind of the main goal and highlight that I like about that area, is just its accessibility is really well done.
Okay.
But there's some really fun trails, and each trail is kind of unique. They all start kind of blending together a little bit when you're out there, but they're all very kind of narrow.
Okay.
Kind of like Barrett Lake-esque trail runs where they're just narrow. There's rocks everywhere, so you can't really go fast. They're not super difficult, but there's a couple of big obstacles kind of thing. And you end at this beautiful lake.
Sure.
And so there's Red Lake. So, and a lot of them are like kind of multiple trails in one. So you go, and then like to get to Coyote Lake, you have to go through Red Lake.
Okay.
So you end up going, you're like, oh, I'm going to go out to Coyote, and you end up doing Red Lake and Coyote Lake.
Yeah.
And same, right? If you want to go to West Lake, you can stop off on your way. I believe it's to Red Lake. You can stop off and kind of take a little short detour over to West Lake.
Okay.
So there's some really cool stuff, fun trails. They're kind of like, I call them creek runs. There's no real creeks here or there, but it's like, equate it to water rafting, right? You've got rivers, and you've got streams, you got creeks, and the trails are more like creeks because they're just these tiny, narrow trails you just can't go fast on.
Okay.
But they're usually in shade the whole time. You've got pretty good tree cover. So
I was going to say that's one of the things I remember I was always deep in the forest. Like there's trees all around you that never really get like any massive spectacular views because you're deep inside the woods.
Yeah.
And it's a narrow trail between trees, rocky. What was not Coyote? Not
Red
Swamp.
Lake?
Nope. There was another one.
Mirror?
Next.
Strawberry?
Next.
West?
Next.
Red?
Nope.
Coyote?
We already went through this. I can't remember the one that I went on. The trail.
Brewer Lake?
Nope.
Brewer's another one.
You said it at the beginning. It's not Swamp Lake. There's no Swamp Lake there, right?
There's a Swamp Lake.
So it might be Swamp. It was probably Swamp Lake, I think.
Okay.
I did it with the Slow County crawlers.
Okay.
Way back in the day. And I remember it being a fairly easy trail with one obstacle, one area, like one rock garden obstacle in the middle.
Yeah.
But you are deep inside the forest. It's gorgeous area that you can see. And then you did end up at a lake, and we just hung out at the lake and relaxed and just chilled the whole entire time around the lake. And it sounds identical to everything you're describing.
Yeah. And that's kind of the main story of this whole area is that no matter what trail you're going to, you're going to get that similar experience. Right. Now the trails are a little different. They have some different features along the way. Like Strawberry Lake is definitely that creek run where it is really tight, windy, narrow, tight turns, and just bowling ball sized rocks everywhere.
Okay. Yeah.
You just can't go fast. There's a couple of little ledges to go up. But you end at this just gorgeous place to hang out and have lunch for the afternoon or camp for the evening. The big one that is probably my favorite trail down there is Mirror Lake. Mirror Lake it's very well guarded by a lot of trees. And so there's not a whole lot of wind typically that gets down to Mirror Lake. So it has a nice mirror reflection on it like all the time. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the trail out there has one of the hardest obstacles in that area, and it's the hill at Mirror Lake.
Okay.
And I would equate it to the gauntlet at Slick Rock.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the bottom the bottom of it is just kind of this loose, and it has a turn mid-trail, 90-degree turn.
Yeah, just like
mid-hill.
the gauntlet. Yeah.
That's just loose dirt, and there's a couple of rocks that are either a really, really big diff catcher, or if you try and go up on it, you're going to roll the vehicle. And then there's a really tight exit at the bottom of the hill that's between a room-sized boulder about the size of this room we're recording in, and a big tree. So it's a tight, narrow squeeze with a ledge, and you just have to be really careful as you go down it. Cause if you don't drop off at the same time, you're going to go into the rock or into the tree, one or the other.
Okay.
So Mirror is it's a really fun obstacle. It's a big obstacle, the hill at Mirror Lake. But the ending is a great High Sierra Lake, just like all these lakes up there.
Sure.
To just camp out or hang out for the day.
Yeah. But I would say probably the most common and most well-known trail out in that area is Bald Mountain.
For certain, yes. Bald Mountain is a really cool trail system, mainly because there's a lot of different ways to do it. And you can access it through a lot of different ways. It's a big loop around Bald Mountain, and I want to say there's 3 entrance points to the trail to this big loop. And one of the entrances is through the Sand Flats area. Mm-hmm. And there's another entrance through the Dinky Creek side of things. And I want to say there's another entrance on the north side, but I have not been through that entrance in my adult life. But the cool thing about Bald Mountain is there's a lot of different ways to do it. So a lot of different routes. So you can get a lot of different difficulties for going in there. You can have full on buggies and have a fun time getting up to the top. Or there has been super stock, like high geared stock 4x4s that can get up there. Overlanders. I wasn't going to go there, Jimmy.
I did it.
You can send all your hate mail to Jimmy@snailtrail4x4.com.
Bring it.
Yeah. But what's really cool about Bald Mountain is you get up to the top, and it has a spectacular 360-degree view of the entire area up there.
Yeah. This is one of the few places in the Schaefer Lake area that actually has a great view.
Yes.
And I mean, it's primarily called Bald Mountain because it's just a giant granite dome for the most part.
Yeah.
And then you're driving.
Kind of looks like Bendover's head.
Yeah, exactly. And you're driving to the top of his head to get this spectacular view.
Yep.
I mean, to the top of the dome.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And there's a fire lookout up top.
Yeah.
That gets maintained by a lot of the off-roaders nowadays. And so it's cool. You get to climb this tower up on top of Ben's head and get this really cool lookout of everything. So pretty sweet. Bald Mountain is definitely like, if you have one trail to do while you're down there, you're just there for the day or something, go check out Bald Mountain. Okay. It's an awesome trail. It would be kind of my top choice for somebody new to the area.
Sure.
And so there's that. Swamp Lake is another great trail down there. Red and Coyote is another great trail. So Red Lake and Coyote Lake. Red Lake has a couple of really fun, almost I equate it to kind of like Big Sluice before the tree fell down.
Okay.
Some really tight squeeze rock scenarios, pinch points.
Yep.
I have not been to Coyote Lake yet.
Oh,
I've been to Red Lake a couple of times, but I've never been to Coyote.
Okay.
So I would like to, at some point, I want to go back down there and just spend like a week doing all these trails in my adult life with the 4Runner, right? Because all these trails I kind of grew up on, and we did a lot of snow runs to Bald Mountain when I was younger. And so that is what like a lot of my childhood, my memories is going to Bald Mountain for snow runs, and then summer, just afternoon picnic trips kind of thing.
Sure.
And so, it's a really cool spot, Bald Mountain and Swamp Lake. I haven't been to Swamp Lake in my adult life either.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I had a fantastic time there, but like I said earlier, I mean, All I really remember is it was a fairly easy trail with one rock garden obstacle in the middle.
Mhm.
And I didn't even take the hard line then, but I think Bobcat could do the hard line. At least from my memory of what it is, I know Bobcat could do the hard line now.
Yeah.
If it's still the same.
Yeah.
But it's not, obviously. So I have no idea what it looks like at the moment. So, but it was a fun trip when we did it. And I don't remember anything that really stood out, except that, you get to a fantastic lake. And I think a lot of people's points of going off-roading or getting out is one of the things that you look for is to end at a water source.
Yeah.
And a lot of the trails in this general area do that. They complete that. You're ending at a lake of some sort, except for Bald Mountain. You end at the Lookout Tower.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely an interesting area. High elevation, for the roughly high elevation in the Sierras, you're centered in a, redwood forest stuff, pine trees and some oak trees mixed in. Gets hot there in the summer though. So get ready if you're going to go down there in the middle of summer. You're up in elevation, but you're still, that entire Central Valley gets very, very hot. So
very hot.
Be conscientious of that and bring lots of water.
Yeah. It always blows me away at the elevation up there. Because here where you and I typically go wheeling, Rubicon, Fordyce, Barrett Lake, up in the El Dorado National Forest, we're average 6,000, 6,500 feet, right? Elevation. Sand flats.
Okay.
8,800 feet.
Yeah.
Elevation. So, I mean, it's another 1,500 feet up from where we are, 2,000 feet up from what we're used to.
Yes.
And that's just sand flats. So at the top of Bald Mountain.
Okay.
Let's see. What is the top of Bald?
How are you doing all this research right now?
Onyx.
Yep.
I can't find Bald. I had it labeled here.
I'll Google it. Let's see who wins.
There we go. Ask AI.
In Fresno County, there are 4 a bald mountain.
Yeah.
And then it gives coordinates. So
there it is. I found it.
A bald mountain at 70 or 37 degrees by 119 degrees rises. This one says 7,838 feet.
That's what I have here.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so down a little bit from the Sand Flats area, which is impressive. That Sand Flats is a higher elevation than the top of Bald Mountain.
Right? Yeah, your base camp is a higher elevation than the top of Bald Mountain.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple of fun places there. Dinky Creek is a great camping area. There's a couple of really good camping areas up at some of the reservoirs, like Courtright Reservoir. There's I want to say it's Jefferson Pass up through there, Jefferson Road up through the pass. That goes up. It's a interesting place. Jackass Meadow Campground.
Okay.
Is a place that I've been to before out at Florence Lake.
Is that where the 559 wheelers live?
Probably. Yep. Shots fired. There's is it the John Muir Trail that goes through there?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's right. That's this right area
and
for
PCT.
it. Yeah. Mono Lake, not Mono Lake, Mono Creek Campground, Mono Hot Springs, up at Lake Thomas Edison.
Okay.
So yeah, the road I was thinking of is this road here. Kaiser Pass. That's what I was thinking of. Kaiser Pass is a fun road to drive. It's a paved road, but it's like one lane. And the road is all beat up and it goes out to some really amazing 2 lakes with some great camping, and that's the Florence Lake and Thomas A. Edison Lake.
Okay.
And
Cool.
so there's Jackass Meadow Campgrounds, Mono Hot Springs up there, Mono Creek Campground, Lake Thomas Edison Campground.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What would you say like minimum vehicle requirements for most of these trails would be on average?
I did them all in my Tacoma.
Oh.
Well, I did not do Mirror in my Tacoma, but I did Red Lake in my Tacoma. I think that was the limit of the Tacoma, and that was on 33s and no lockers.
And long.
I had a 143-inch wheelbase, 148-inch, something like that. So you don't need a lot to do these trails. That's another kind of really nice thing about them. And they're not so much about the wheeling.
Yeah.
It's more about getting out to these high Sierra lakes.
Okay.
And creating a little bit of obstacles there so that we're not getting Subarus out there, right? I think is the goal.
Okay. I like it.
But you don't need a whole lot to get out to these places. 33s and a short wheelbase, like a TJ or a CJ or something like that, or first gen 4Runner, and a rear locker will get you pretty much 99% of the places out here.
Cool.
Now they get easier, obviously, the more geared you are. The Mirror Lake, I would say you definitely want lockers front and rear and maybe 35s.
Sure.
But you don't need a lot to get out to these trails.
Okay.
So yeah. Another couple of fun trails in the area that are of noteworthiness. Dusy Eursium.
Yes.
And that's the high elevation one. That one gets up to 12,000 feet, I believe.
Wow.
10,000? I think it's 10,000. Maybe it is. I don't know, 10 or 12,000 feet. Somebody write in, let us know. Matt will call in, let us know. Matt actually does work every year to open up Dusy.
Yes.
So he knows quite a bit about the trail and some statistics about it. Dusy is another one I have not done in my adult life that I really want to do.
Yeah, I've never done it either.
Are you still on to do that trip this year?
No.
Oh,
I'll say it here. Sorry, Welds Taco. So my buddy, I have a college mate friend that is throwing, I don't, it's not a shotgun wedding, but it's super fast wedding.
Okay.
Together, and he's getting married Wednesday morning that week.
What a weird time.
I know. It's some like, they're not, it's going to sound weird, but there's some solar thing happening, I think, during that point in time, though they're not like weird hippie, like, you know, they're just, they're like, oh, they want to do a sunrise. It's in Hawaii. They want to do a sunrise wedding on the beach.
Interesting.
Out in Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah. And something's happening. So I'm going to be going to that.
All right.
Figure that, hopefully, well, I was going to say, weddings only happen once and Dusy will be around for years, but this is his second wedding. So
I was going to say in theory, weddings only happen once, but Jimmy, come on.
This is his second.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll be a fun trip though.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'll have to talk to you about that because I'm going to be leaving on a Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I really want to get up and do Dusy at some point. And I think what I need to do is just plan a week where I can go down and do a bunch of these trails that I really want to do. I haven't done yet.
Dusy takes a week.
It takes 3 to 4 days. Yeah. By itself.
I hear give it 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's a lake in the middle of Dusy that everybody stops at. I don't know what the name is, but they say drive, to that lake and then spend an entire day at that lake.
Yeah.
And whether it takes you 2 days to get there, then you spend a day there and then 1 or 2 days out. Yeah. But it's a 4-day, 5-day trip.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of nowhere. So if you are thinking about Dusy, carry gas with you because the trails, it's not like super long. It's like 30 miles, but you're going slow. So you're burning through fuel.
Yep.
And then there are no gases.
Except Shaver Lake.
On either side. So you got to drive back to Shaver Lake to fill up.
I've heard you need at least 200 miles of range in your off-road vehicle to make the entire trip. You really want to take 250 to 300 miles of gas with you just in case, though.
Yeah.
So think about that if you're going to do Dusy.
Yes. I would definitely need to carry fuel.
Yeah, I would too. I get just under 200 miles on one tank. So
yeah. I get halfway through a tank doing the Rubicon.
Yeah, right. So anyways, that's Dusy. Swamp is another one, and that Swamp Lake is in that area. And then another one that's kind of a notable close mention, I guess.
Okay.
Is Shut Eye Peak.
Never heard of it.
Shut Eye Peak is a trail outside of Oakhurst.
Oh.
So not in the Shaver Lake area, but not too far away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is another fantastic lookout up in that area. So, and it's just got some really cool granite crawling as you get towards the end of it.
Oh, cool.
So Shut Eye Peak is another one that's cool if you're looking for lookouts to do some rock crawling at. So Bald Mountain and Shut Eye, and then pretty much every other trail in that Shaver Lake, Red Mountains, Sand Flats area is all just at these tiny little high Sierra lakes that are amazing locations to get to. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a fun area. I definitely want to explore more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, after doing the podcast for so many years, we're gaining more and more friends all around. I know that you have friends and family that live down in that area, but
I don't have any friends.
That's true. You have family that lives down there, but now through the podcast, you know, we have connections down in that area. And, you know, if I said, hey, I want to go wheel these trails, more than enough people would be happy to guide us along or take us on some adventures, which is really fun and cool.
Yeah.
So probably not this year just because life is happening, but probably maybe next year. I definitely want to go down there and do some exploring.
Mm-hmm.
Another area that we're not going to cover on these highlights because you've been there, but I have never been there.
Mm-hmm.
Is Bear Valley.
Oh yeah,
I want to go to Bear Valley sometime and just hut around because I've heard so much about it. But never been there, never tried any of the trails.
I wasn't too impressed with Bear Valley. It's impressive to look at because it's in the middle of San Bernardino Valley.
Yeah.
And it's just this giant plateau that shoots up 6,000 feet in the middle of San Bernardino Valley.
Right.
And that geographically it's impressive, but like it's such a small area for OHV recreation that I don't know, in my opinion, there's not a lot of places to explore.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to explore, not a great area.
Yeah. I know you went down for like an event and that you guys did some trail runs, but I wonder if
they were not rock crawling trails.
Yeah. But to me, it sounded like you were the way overbuilt rig for the vehicles that were on that expedition.
Yeah.
So I bet you there's harder trails than what you went on.
Probably. I've heard that the hardest trail up there is John Bull.
Okay. I've heard of that one.
And from what I've seen of John Bull, it looks like what would be an equatable trail here.
Strawberry.
No, it's a little more difficult than Strawberry. I mean, maybe old Strawberry before it started getting all the rocks taken out of it and before it got bulldozed. I would put it up along that level. Bear Valley OHV outside of Truckee.
Yeah.
I think from what I've seen of John Bull, it seems like it's that difficulty of trail.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah. And that's supposedly their hardest trail in Bear Valley.
Got it.
So
good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a cool spot though. Like you just go up and up and up and up and up forever. And then you come down really quickly back down to San Bernardino. And the view from on top of it overlooking the San Bernardino Valley is really cool as well, especially at nighttime when everything's lit up. You can't really see anything during the day because of all the smog. It's a little depressing, but that's why you just go wheeling up into the trails for the day. And then at nighttime, come back and look at the lights.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you for the review of Shaver Lakes area.
Yeah.
I have not explored enough of that, and hopefully we'll get down to it soon enough. Yeah, Bald Mountain for sure. It's a highlight. I know lots of photos, or see lots of photos from down there. Lots of people talking about it. I think that I'm going to go out on the limb here and say that is an area that is so frequently traveled to and a destination that we need to start protecting it to some extent. Please stay on trails. Please stay, collect, pack in and pack out whatever you have, just be good stewards up to the land, and, then people can continue to visit those areas like that.
Yeah. And huge shout out to Clovis Independent Four Wheelers and all the other clubs that help maintain that area. They do a really good job at trash cleanups regularly. They have quite a bit of infrastructure in terms of signage at sand flats to tell people how to get to and access the different areas, different trails. There's bathrooms. There's trash cans in a couple areas too. Cool. So they have a pretty decent amount of infrastructure up there. And I know the 4-wheel drive clubs maintain almost all of it.
Wow.
So huge shout out to the clubs in the Fresno area that help maintain the Shaver wheeling area. It is very impressive what they've done and what they're able to do since they have a really good relationship with Sierra National Forest.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Well, if you want to get in contact with us and give us some corrections on this area, you feel free to reach out. I'm at Snail Trail 4x4 on Instagram. Tyler's over at 4x4 Toyota Tyler. You can email us, Jimmy or Tyler, at snailtrail4x4.com. Or you can phone in and tell us about your favorite trail out in that area, with the phone number being 916-345-4744.
I like it a lot. And with that, Jimmy Jet, do you have any final words for everybody out there?
I wonder if they do a 31-inch tire run out there.
We could start one. And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
You're very cheery with that. Are you excited about this one? Okay.
Yes.
It's not one of the cards.
I know.
So, okay, I'm ready, I guess.
Why did the car not go to school?
It had a reader's block, like an engine block.
Clever, but no.
Okay, I don't know then.
It failed its emission test.
Emission.
Admission.
Admission to emission.
Emission.
Is emission admission?
Admission.
No, I don't know. I think that's a stretch.
More than reader's block?
No, that one's a big stretch.